Hi guys, I hope you're all well and welcome to episode 133 of the James Layton Fitness Podcast. So in this specific episode I want to discuss something that's extremely important when considering your compound exercises. So when I'm referring to compound exercises, I'm referring to exercises like squats, deadlifts, bench press, overhead press, and variations of these exercises. So these are the sorts of exercises which should be making up the foundation of your training routine. Your program should be built around these big fundamental key movements. The reason why is you can typically use the most amount of weight with these exercises, multiple muscle groups are involved, and as such it's that much easier to create a progressive stimulus with these exercises and to increase volume over time. So as I mentioned many times before, volume is the biggest determining factor for influencing muscle growth, which is sets times reps times load. And because the loads on the bars for these particular exercises are so much higher than some of your isolation exercises, that's one of the biggest reasons why we can create so much volume with these big key compound lifts. However, it's very, very important just to appreciate that you don't want to be going to absolute failure on all your working sets. So failure is basically when you cannot get any more repetitions within a given set. Now the reason why you don't want to be going to absolute failure within all of your working sets is if you were to go to failure within all your working sets, you'd actually get less total repetitions throughout all of the working sets because you'd be so fatigued. And because of that, because you're getting less total reps within all of the working sets, that therefore means volume would be less than if you were to apply what I would suggest doing, which is basically holding one rep back in the tank until the final set. You're basically going to perform all your working sets, but the first sets you're not going to go to absolute failure. You're going to rack the weight knowing that you could have done one more repetition. Then on that final set, that's the set to go to absolute failure, and you'll notice immediately you'll be able to get more total sets throughout all the working sets, and as a result volume will be high. Remember, that's our main goal within the muscle building phase, is increasing volume over time. Now with regards to your isolation exercise, things like bicep curling movements, tricep push downs, lateral raises, these are exercises where using much lighter weight, typically just one muscle group being worked at one time. You can take all of these sets to absolute failure. The reason why they're just nowhere near as fatiguing as some of your big compound lifts, and you've probably experienced this yourself if you've gone for an absolute balls to the wall set. The following set you typically can't get that many repetitions in comparison to that first set, or you'll get less repetitions, whereas if you just hold one rep back in the tank, you shouldn't see that same drop off. You might see a small drop off in terms of performing slightly less reps as you do more sets, but the total amount of repetition throughout all the working sets by just taking that final set to failure within your main compound exercises will allow you to get more total reps throughout all the working sets, and as a result volume will be high. So if you've not applied this before, I'd suggest applying this as soon as possible. Your main key compound lifts, the squats, deadlifts, bench press, overhead press, and variations of these things like dumbbell chest press, heavy dumbbell barbell rowing movements, all these exercises you really want to be holding back one rep back in the tank until that final set, and then your isolation exercises, single joint exercises, bicep curls, tricep exercises, things like this. You can just take all of your sets to failure. The reason why is they're just not as draining. You're not going to see those repetitions drop off like you would do within those main compound exercises. Hopefully that's been useful. Apply that within a muscle building phase and a fat loss phase as well, because within the fat loss phase our real main goal is trying to maintain as much strength and volume as possible to preserve lean muscle mass. You still want to be applying that same strategy within the fat loss phase as well as the muscle building phase to focus on increasing volume over time, which is your main goal within the weight training component. So thank you very much for listening. If you're still yet to subscribe to my free book, How to Set Up a Nutrition Plan, if you go to James Layton, Layton fitness.co.uk, you'll see a tab at the top of the page for a free book. You can download that immediately. Additionally, if you're still yet to subscribe to the podcast, please do, as I bring out these podcasts every single week, and by subscribing it just means you won't miss an episode. Thank you very much. Look forward to speaking to you next week. Take care.